All right. And we should be live. I'm double checking that Discord is on. Hello and welcome to INSIGHT ROLEPLAY. If you can hear me, please let me know in chat right now. I'm here together with a friend of mine who played with me last year, the first time around when I was getting involved with 40 Roleplay. Solmyr arrived on the scene at the same time, more or less. And we role-played some fun role-playing sessions together. So, very happy to have you here, Solmyr.
Thank you. Great to be here.
And with Solmyr, we got 4D's Pace, or 4D Space. Funny double entendre for those who didn't caught it the first time around. Who's returned. Last time we did an interview in space. Now, I don't know, like we are in a different space, but it's not space this time.
Yeah, so you can call me Klaus, it's okay.
Klaus works. I like 4D space, but it will be confusing talking about 4D roleplay and calling you 4D space at the same time.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. We are loud and clear. Beautiful. They can hear us. We have Captain Conway, Tiger Uppercut, and yeah, that's it. That's it for now. Hopefully people will join later on. Of course, it's the weekends. People are busy partying, drinking, playing games. Not everybody. Or watching a better talk show.
Or sleeping, I heard.
Oh, sleep is also a thing. Yes. Right. We got the European edition going on now where, well, obviously the whole point was, what if I make the show at a time where Europeans can join? And both of you agreed. And then I had to delay it by 2 hours, which is it ruins the premise of the show to be European friendly. Now they have to stay up until midnight. But you know,
At least it's not 3 a.m.
Yes, that's true, man. I cannot do it. I tried every time I try, it just ruins my sleep schedule. Like, yeah, guys, I can totally do 3 a.m. show. Okay, let's start with the icebreaker. Although we don't need an icebreaker, but I had this one still left over from last week. You have the godly power to destroy all D6s in the world, or all D20s in the world. These dice will no longer exist. Even the mere concept of it doesn't exist anymore. Which ones will you sacrifice, the D6 or the D20?
D20.
Cold.
I'm gonna say both or either, but or neither. But I mean, you can't live without a D6. It's like a historical fact. You can't remove that one. So, but I like D20s, and it is not a luck die. I'm just saying, it's a good die.
Yes, they are fun to roll. It's just not fun to play D20 systems. So,
Yeah, that's very true.
Goodbye, D20s. Even though you have a legacy with Dungeons and Dragons, the most important role-playing die in existence of roleplay, it's not. Not good enough.
That's the reason. That's the reason. Yeah. For me.
we must save the hobby.
Yeah, I'm holding a grudge as well. Sure.
I did consider, well, maybe the D6 is just too powerful. I mean, normal games use D6s. So the D20 is the outcast. So maybe I toss in the D10 as an option. Or I guess you both stick to the guns of... Nah, the D10 can stay, the D20 is the offender.
You know, like, I mean, at the end, we will have a perfect D20 24 system or D18. I don't know. If my math is correct. Yeah.
I would keep the D20 over the D10 for sure. And that also means that D100 goes out, but you have D20, so you have a D100 except for a few extra features, but much easier to roll.
Oh, it's one die roll instead of two die rolls, making percentile math. Well, it's not math, it's just looking like, which one is the tens and which ones is the ones. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the D100 system, it's basically 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. So you're not using the single digits a lot of the time. You're only using it for special rules like critical hits and a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
So you could use a D10 and simplify the system a little bit and get the same results.
All right.
But then you can have the D20 instead, and then you get a few. Then you can again add a few rules on top of that. So nobody can disagree.
They cannot.
And you will end up with a D&D 5 point something.
D&D 5.75 probably.
Yes.
Because they just don't want to commit to a new edition since they have a large community that bought into one edition of it. And the biggest problem is, oh yeah, just buy the next books, and the customers will turn around and ask, why can I not use the previous 20 books anymore that I bought from you? That's always the case. Big problems. All right, let's start with the topics. So this one, I tossed this one a bit together with you guys because the main draw is to have more Europeans on. So hopefully we can have one again in the future when the community is a bit larger, or with people outside of 40 roleplay also want to be able to talk about, share their insights on roleplay. So maybe for the next European round, I do a bit more outreach to have like guests or writers, like role-playing writers or artists on that are also interested in this hobby. But I don't even know if I can count you as European, Klaus. Like it's non-Americans.
Okay. Yeah, I'm somewhere in between. I'm transitioning from Asian to Europe.
All right. Yeah, fantastic. What do you guys want to start with? I know you both brought some topics that we can talk over.
Yeah, you can. Let's start with the timestamp that I gave you. The first timestamp of my first 4D session in the UNPC, like non-prep challenge thing, and after we'll watch it, I will offer you a topic. So while you are opening it, I will give you an emphasis what it was. So there we are playing in a Stone Age. It was like non-prepared session in the Stone Age. Actually, I hate this setting, but it doesn't matter in this case. So what's interesting here on the timestamp that I gave you, that's the time when the game actually starts. The GM starts the narration, and then the Silva, he makes his first turn. Then I make my turn, and the third player too. But the whole the interesting part is we just created our characters, but we forgot to introduce our characters to each other. So we do not know who chose who in this game setting. We know that we're in the Stone Age. We know that that it's an alternative history, so there are lizard men there. But we have no idea who is who and what. Actually, not even how we look, but actually who is strong in what, and who is the fighter, who is the priest or whatever. So yeah, that's the interesting part. I think you can start there, and I will tell you when to stop.
All right, yeah. So it's also an ultimate no prep challenge, which for new people that means you rolled that it is a Stone Age. It was not predetermined. So you're like trying to get into the world on the spot as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you cannot hear this, make sure right-click in the Discord that you can hear the audio. I will start now.
Yeah.
The three of you stand on the boundary stone ridge directly above White Stag Ravine. It is late in the day. The sun is hovering over mountains in the distance. A deep red light emanates from it, covering the entire land. Tiny flakes of white ash fall on your shoulders. Below you in the ravine is the Cloud-Shaped clan somewhere. They have food for trade.
I stand up, looking down the ravine. What are we trading with those guys again?
We have, of course, the most important trade item of all. We have fire. I can make fire. I will give them fire, but I will not teach them to make their own fire. And thus, we will have food for the coming times ahead.
Thank God we have you in our midst.
And we have knowledge. I say, wearing the garments made of lizard skin with the amulet of their teeth on my neck.
Okay, are you guys ready? I pull up my spear.
I'm always ready, and I'm holding my thick bone made from the leg of one of the lizards.
Yes.
Okay,
lead,
I think you
lead
can...
on.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, you can stop here. So the cool part here is that when we started the game, I think after on the discussion after the game, we discussed it, that we realized that we didn't tell each other about our characters. So when the game started, we had not only the idea of to describe our characters, but actually to give the hints who we are. So here I actually tried not just to tell that how I look, but actually that I am kind of a shamanic person, like the wise person here in the clan. And another person told that he's bringing the fire, and then he was always bringing this idea that he's a most technical, with a high ingenuity skill person, and the Silva was more kind of a fighter. So and I really like this kind of. It was my first experience. It was super unprepped thing, and it's funny how, I don't know, that's my question to you guys. When I described this character and I told about knowledge, and I described my character, did you have any idea of who may I be, or did it work or not? Because that's what I was trying to do at the very beginning of the game.
Go ahead, Solmyr.
I guess that I didn't think of a shaman directly, but the word knowledge, I mean, it cues you in and gives you an expectation of what the character might be about.
Yeah, maybe I didn't have the whole idea of shaman, a wise man or something. It was alternative history, of course, but. So I just brought it at the beginning because the topic that I want to discuss is that in the classical games that we all saw and we all see every day, when people introduce their characters, usually they just say at the beginning who they are, like I'm a ranger, I'm a scout, I'm a fighter, and then they describe how they look at the very beginning, and later on, like what happens that 4D describes as like floating heads. But even if they are not floating heads, if the people describe where they are, what they do, and what they say, they're not often like, not every person brings the description of their how do they look, like some elements of their like clothes, or I don't know, some elements of hair, face, and arms and stuff. So my idea always, when I'm a GM, but even when I'm a player, I always try to think about bringing again and again the description of my character in my turn, to remind others how my character is looking. So,
yeah, that's the thing with the intro. Yeah. At an intro, you have the most information to learn in one moment, because that's where you start. Simple as that. I was so focused on trying to understand Chris's scenario. Like, okay, we are at a mountaintop, and I think it's a snowy mountaintop, and you have this this valley with this other clan that you have come to trade. And I like the way Nicholas handled it, Nicholas over here, Silva, to ask another player, what are we trading again? Because this is this is the movie of like, hello, brother, my dear brother, who I like very much. Why did we go this journey again for 3 days? Like, he would know, he would never ask that, but the camera is rolling, so he must ask, so that the viewer learns.
Yes, and on his behalf, he actually several times during the game he was giving us these passes, like okay, like now it's your turn. I think it was not his first session, so he really wanted to give us attempt to roleplay. What do you think, Solmyr, about this description of the appearance of the characters, like not only once but like implementing it in your turns to remind others, like to anchor, right? But with your appearance.
It's absolutely great to do that, and especially the first time, it really gives an image that kind of sticks for the entire game, I feel. I watched some of those D&D podcasts, I think, and they also said, oh, I'm a thief, I'm a ranger, whatever it was, and I absolutely hated that. And then after a few episodes, they just started describing themselves a little bit, and that gave a much stronger picture. And it was much more entertaining to watch it, because I don't go to town and see a character class or something like that.
When you describe yourself, the biggest problem is like informational overload. So you have 4 players at the table, all going in a row, exactly how they look like, and you can remember the last 3 sentences, and all the rest, all that everybody else said, is out the window pretty much. As soon as you stop talking, it's like, wait, what was the eye color? What was the hair color? What are they wearing? I don't know. I try so hard to listen, but it's so much extra information that I like a brief description. Strapping young man, ripped shirt, bandana over the forehead, leading the group.
You reminded me one more thing. At the beginning, we discussed a lot this alternative history thing with the lizard man and how dangerous they are, and what kind of relationship do we have as human beings. So they were predators. So when I decided to actually put the clothes of this like leather skin of the lizard man on my character, it was like on purpose to give other like so other players could understand, oh, like he's not a usual caveman. He has a like leather skin like stuff on him, but he's not strong. So that was the idea, that was the hint, and also a huge vulnerability to my character. So that was another hint that I gave.
That is great information to share through how you look, of what it implies with the world, your relationship with the lizard man, but also that you were in a fight with them, or you maybe you bought it from somebody else, but since it's like Stone Age, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's-
thought you were wearing animals. Just casually listening to it, I probably missed the lizard men thing. That would have been.
Yeah.
I think, and as you say, the repetition or the reinforcement, it can really explain to people like me who miss it the first time.
yes.
You can really, now I get it, the full picture more and more. It's lizard men, is these sentient creatures. It's not just a lizard.
Yeah, so that's another thing, when people when players describe their characters, sometimes they describe it for their, to so other players can have an image of their character, just, brown hair, short haired, or tall or short. Yeah. But that's one way how you do it. Just to give some people cannot imagine, like in the book, you need some kind of description to imagine it, but sometimes it's overwhelming, as you said, Zonolar.
Yeah.
But that's another thing, when you describe something, not for the sake of the image, but like for the idea of to implement some kind of like hints, what kind of character it is, right? Or his history, or maybe even his motivation or profession. That's another cool stuff that is actually, I think when you're a player, that's the thing that what you need to do, because you don't have many characters as the GM, right? You can concentrate it, and all your description can be precise and right, on point. So
this is a big reason why I encourage players to say what they are doing, because by saying what you're doing, it doesn't have to be anything like meaningful or useful, but you can use this moment for an anchoring scene of like grounding yourself in the world, so the other people can imagine what your character is doing. And this is where you pull your hand through your crimson red hair, your crimson red curly hair. And it's not much, but it's an emotional state of the character, and it's his looks, and it updates what people are thinking when they look at when they think of your character in their minds. It helps with the imagination. Same, like, how many role-playing sessions have you watched where somebody was playing an alien, a different race, and they play a tiefling, but they never mention that they have a tail? What if you walk down the street thinking about your dear friend, my tail swaying behind me playfully? Little details that your character would do subconsciously, but that adds to the elements of your character in a very funny and funky way. This is why furries are better roleplayers in role-playing games than normal roleplayers, because they have that so ingrained in their minds to mention, oh, my ears perk up, and I do all of these non-verbal communication because they're fascinated with animals and like Disney shows.
That's an interesting detail there. And animals only communicate with their body language, so it makes sense. I would add one thing to that, Zonala, that when you are making these images for the other players, they can envision the character and also what they're like. But it is also equally important for yourself when you are getting into the character or finding the character, that you are, what could it look like? You describe it. And that builds on the image that you have yourself as a player, so you can build on that as well, and use that as a technique to find the character, so to speak.
Yeah, you just both reminded me once. It was a long time ago. I played just once. I played, in the world of World of Darkness, the Challenging the Lost, and I was one of these people who were stolen by the fairies and then came back to the real world. And
okay.
I was changed. I was changed physically, right? And one important thing, I was stolen by the fairy that was like super high, knowledgeable and intellectual, and I was reading a lot and studying a lot of books. So the idea of my character was a small, tiny body, huge head, and then big eyes, anime-sized eyes on a head. But the coolest part was that my eyelashes, right? You call them eyelashes, were actually vertical, and they were closing from the both sides, from the right to left, just doing this slapping sound. And I was reminding all my players about this all the time. I say something and they say I'm slopping with my eyelashes. So that was really fun. That was really fun character. I was just adding this all the time, and it was enough for me to have fun when I was young.
And yeah, it's fantastic. You need to mention it through roleplay, because we don't see by looking at your face that your eyes blink that way unless you mention it happening.
Or doing
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame if it's only in the backstory, some document that nobody reads, right?
yes, never ever. Yeah. But yeah, if you want, we can continue another timestamp. But another timestamp is connected to another technique that it's another topic that I want to raise, and it's connected to the improv technique and what we can implement in our roleplay from the improv theater.
All right. Yeah. So I see it's 51 minutes. Is that right? Or is it
Yes,
1
it should be.
hour? 1 hour?
No,
10
no,
minutes?
it's minus 1 hour. If it's a stream, it should be 51.
Okay.
So yeah, let's just listen again, and then we'll discuss what we saw.
Passing through the completely dark forest.
Stop it, wait.
Sound.
Yes.
I need to add something. The genre of the game was a horror, so it was a horror in a cave, Stone Age with the lizard man. So lizards war.
Yeah.
So that's important one. We were all expecting the horror thing to happen, and we just almost reached this habitats of that clan that we were supposed to meet. Okay, now go.
Of the soft sound of water over smooth stones hits your ears. There is a small stream here.
I will mention right now, because it's a small detail. Chris is on the spot, a different setting, but now you're 1 hour in. And seeing a small sounds of water hitting the stone hits your ear. It's so janky.
We were immersed. We were okay. Right now we're gonna face this evil. And I think before that there was another thing. The Barkinstone Silva character. He actually, when we were sitting near the fire, he was hunting and he catched a fox, and this fox had an arm of a human being in her, in its jaws. So there were already some hints of something horrible that happened. So then we reached this there.
Okay, it's the thing of describing a sound reaching your ears. Is clunky.
Okay.
Not to give Chris any flack here, it's not my intention. But if you describe the sound, the assumption is that everybody can hear it. unless you want to single it out to one character, in which case you name the character by the name and then you describe the sound. Oh, you hear that to make it isolated that only this one character picks up on it. It's but it's difficult. It's difficult. You come up with a way. How do I describe this dramatically? A lot of it is describing it on the spot, and that's not easy. Okay, I'll continue the thing.
Swarming around it are gnats and flies. In the distance, through a break in the trees, framed against the night sky, the lodge of the Cloud-Shaped clan. No light.
As I step
see the
behind
lodge.
Siku, suddenly I step on something squishy, and I look down. Siku, what is this? What is this water at my feet?
The lodge there. What you stepped on? Oh,
It looks big. What is it? What the?
it's just the moss. It's just the moss. I'm reaching down and just grab that piece of moss that grows here full of water and slime and stick it to the face of Brim Barkenstone. It's just the moss. It's okay. And throw
take
it
the
back.
emphasis. I got scared for a moment.
Okay. We can
Lovely.
stop.
Where are you?
So yeah, what do you think first? Then I'll be the last one. That comments on this.
Go ahead, Solmyr.
Yeah, it's a nice vibes, creepy sounds and silhouettes, the cottage. It's a good start for a horror scene or something like that. And then I noticed your like techniques that I stepped on something. Hey, you guys, other players, what did I step on? And then the other players like, what did I step on? So that's gives you some time to think about it and come up with something, I guess. I think it's great if people are sort of into it or expecting it. You can throw them these little challenges almost, right?
It goes in two ways, because one of them is that the game master should introduce the horror element, because you could run the risk of creating a completely different monster than the game master has prepared for you to interact with, and now the game master is sitting there be like, well, crap, I guess I toss away my idea and go with whatever the player just came up with.
Yeah, actually, at the very beginning, the Chris said like it's okay if it will go like off the rails. So he was prepared for that. But what I want to make emphasis on that the Barkenstone, the Silva's character, so he made his turn, and in his turn he decided to co-create, right?
Yes.
But what he did, he just split this co-creation with someone else, like with me. Because I was behind, like I was in front of him, right? So, and he gave me this idea. But the thing is, as we discussed it later, he already was preparing to see something horrible there, like the body part or something like that. But for me, for my character personally, I was not feeling this kind of horror vibe yet. So I understood the idea, but I'm like, no, come on, that's like, no, of course there's not, like, that's the most, that's totally like, it can feel like this. I can imagine that, when you swim somewhere and you like put your feet on something like slimy and on the bottom, you can feel something like that. So, and then actually in that moment I thought like, wow, that's a cool like, co-creation. I just don't feel like horror yet. So give me some kind of the vibes. So, and actually, because it was my first 4D session, I told them that I was not so fully immersed into my character. I was more playing like a GM with one character, right? that just portraying what he does. I was always trying to shift from the third person to the first person. So, but at the end, it's a kind of technique from the improv theater that, this, it calls, the name of it is like yes and, they say like yes and, or like no but, or something like that. So like, I agree with his co-creation. Yes, there is something there, of course. And it's not what, it's something else, right? So that was the idea. So I really like this turn. I think it was the best moment for me personally there. And I think he liked this moment too. So it was fun. Usually I think I will decide here.
The big help with Silva starting the scene by saying, "Oh, what did I step on?" It creates immediate drama in the moment,
Yes.
and it helps the game master that he does not need to create every single incident every single moment or scene in the game for you to react to. Now the player creates a moment, and as you said, Silva shares this, so he doesn't create a horrible monster. He creates a question and lets another player interact with it. And now you, as a player, you can decide to escalate and give it a name. Or what you can also do is like keep the illusion going. It's like it's nothing, and you dig your hands down past past some of the fog that covers the ground of the cave, into the water, into the sludge, and pull something up. See, it's nothing. But then the game master describes what it looks like. Let the game master describe what it looks like. Is it a bunch of bugs? Like, is this the Indiana Jones cave with the girl where all the bugs are crawling everywhere? And she's like, haha, that tickles. Stop tickling me. I'm not tickling you. And then they turn on the torch, and you have the beautiful 30 seconds of all the bugs in the room. And then she just freaks out.
Yeah, but let me ask. Maybe I'll try to ask Solmyr this question. So, what do you think, Solmyr, about like you read the 4D book, right? There is a topic of counter co-creation, right? When the game master creates something else that kind of decline some of the proposition that the player does. But what's the improv theater tell us that actually if the group of players, right, like who play their characters, like in an improv theater, they can do the same thing. They can not only co-create. They also can like kind of say no, but like someone to pull something. Oh, I know there is a box. I was like, oh, but in this box is just this, and it's also a cool thing. I think it could be something interesting for the 4D roleplay. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's I think there is so much overlap with improv theater actually, but nobody's really picked up that connection. I played a few games with an improv theater guy, and that was great. But I think some people like the mundane co-creation, and some like the total co-creation, right? And you would have to get into the mind space and agree with each other that even other players can negate your things, and But that could be really great if the players are into it, for sure.
The cool thing is it's much harder to know what comes next if every player at the table can throw in a completely new element into the room. So you're much more on your toes, this improvisational side of imagining this world as the players introduce friends or gangs or hideouts, or like, oh, what did I just step on?
Yeah, but like what Solmyr said about improv theater being really close to the 4D, because if you ever tried improv theater, there are also rules there. There is the rule, for example, that you cannot cancel something that already happened. Like someone said it, okay, it happened, right? It's like, popular rule in the role play, right? This
And that is absolutely a thing for 4D roleplay.
And
Go ahead.
and so there are several like basic rules, and actually the rules become like the more intricate the deeper you go into the improv, and the more, how to say, the more connected you are with the players. So I think like that's for 4D role play, and for the improv theater, it's also another area of like intersection where the more you play with someone as a player, with another player, the more you actually understand how he plays and what it's possible to do with him in your game and what is not.
Yeah.
So actually, that's the this like we have in our community, we have this idea of like vetting the players, right? Vet the players, but there is also another step, like not only vet them, but actually play with them again and again and again and again to like to build those bonds, to build this like improv muscle, this or co-creation muscle, as you can say.
To build team cooperation, essentially.
Yeah, cooperation.
That's really big. I mean, after just 2-3 games, it's almost completely different, in my experience.
Yeah.
It very much when you play for a while, it's much easier to read the body language of the other players to understand. Oh, like he's asking a question, but because you can read the body language, you realize, oh, it was a rhetorical question. He does not expect an answer. So the other guy, you can role play being that you're miffed, that he asked a question but doesn't want an answer and just like blows you off instead. And being able to play off each other creates a better social dynamics between characters and different scenarios. That's a big benefit. I see what you mean with parallels with improvisational theater. I think a big difference is for role-playing games, we still want to have the game. We don't want to violate the game itself that we are playing. So the rules that exist. One thing I did with D&D, with Delicious Tracks, is we agreed that we are ignoring initiative because it stops the role play to hash out who goes first and rolling initiative. Now we are thinking like a board game, like a war game. And instead, I enforced a round robin where we just go person by person in a circle. And then I just let my NPCs go last. And if combat is really hectic, I take like a short turn of my NPCs going for the blade. But the players can attack first. Like incremental moments of escalation. And that way, the players can also choose to like go away from initiative and combat and try to negotiate again. Negotiate for their lives or negotiate for their lives. So it's not always just combat. So we are dismissing some of the rules, but only if we think it helps the game. And we talked about it. At first I said, I want to try out without initiative. And I think we did it once and we agreed, no, we actually don't need initiative to play this game. We can keep some of we keep the other stuff, We have hit points already. We have all these other mechanics.
Oh, okay. In this case, like in this moment, I can add again that the comparison with the improv theater, would you like it or not? So on some level of the improv, when the team of the players actually like already built and they're good together, sometimes they can actually cancel some of the rules. and it works even better. Like for some specific moment, they cancel one of the rules to make it more fun, more entertaining and more interesting and like new.
Right.
So, yeah, it's about novelty. It's about trying something else. It's about
That's interesting because you could not do that in a 4D role-playing session. because there is the GM who is supposed to represent the world in the fictitious mindscape, and you can't just agree with the other players to change everything or to change the rules in that sense. That's not possible, I think.
No, I mean, when you cancel in some rules, it's a some rules. It's not like all the rules, so not the crucial rules. There are some crucial rules that you cannot break. Though in 4D, there are crucial rules that there is a GM and the players, and then in Profit will be, I don't know, that something like you cannot cancel what happened before, right? But so I know when someone will try to play in 4D a game about time travelers, or canceling something in the past, that will be insane. Because I tried once. I almost played a game. Someone made a game about time travelers. It's a system. I don't know how this GM, his mind is working, but actually it's like all these intricate snakes of time that just intertwine, and you can cancel your own past, and it's insane. But that will be fun to see. It's the only chance to play this game where everyone shares the GM role, but you will still be in 4D when you're playing as the time travelers. Some kind of rule that gives you one turn of adding something, changing something in the past.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Time travel is crazy because you're really pushing the suspension of disbelief, especially if you try to make sense of time travel, which is the biggest problem with every time travel movie who have ever existed. And literally all of them, including Back to the Future. Because Back to the Future is fun, it's playful, it doesn't make any sense. But you get who is it? Marty McFly goes to the past and starts dating his own mother and be like, oh wait, no, I can't do that because I erased myself from existence. As his photograph starts slowly disappearing as his own mother starts having feelings for him, right? It's like, oh no, right, then she would never have a family and he would never exist and his life is ruined. That's a fun way to play with time travel back whenever that movie came out. I guess the 90s.
Yeah, it was maybe the only time travel movie. There's a few 80s movies that are good with time travel, but it's such a mess, honestly. But I see that it could be an interesting exploration.
Yeah.
To mess with your past, and now everything is different.
Yeah.
There's actually a very famous computer game, Day of the Tentacle, and you play in the future and the past, a different character, and then I think that's the one. And then you have to switch characters and place an object and leave it there. And then when you go to the future, that object will be there. Things like that. It's actually 5D or 6D or something.
I think time travel is a link to the past is always the first thing that comes to my mind. When you play Link and you pick up the sword and you're now 7 years older, you're a young man now instead of a small child.
Yeah, but we can definitely start from the traveling into the past to changing the past somehow in a role play. But we already have games where you can play out flashbacks, right?
Yeah.
Usually people don't like mentioning this game in the 4D, but because it has some other rules about game, like playing the rules, like meta playing. But the flashbacks, I think it's really possible to achieve, to play them out. Some short periods of time in the past that affects the current time.
Right. Yeah, we talked about that one before. Yeah. To have some room to role play the flashback, and in your example with Blades in the Dark and similar styles of games, I remember in that one you described you're basically doing an anchoring scene where you describe reminiscing of this event.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how I feel about like opening up that flashback and then role play back and forth with the game master about it.
Yeah, that's another thing. That will not be a 4D, of course. Yeah.
It would. So I think
You
you
know-
can start the scene and the game master could react to what you remember playing the other character. The biggest problem is if it's more than like 4 turns, the other players are just waiting there, waiting for you to finish up.
But if it
Yeah,
is
but that's the same as splitting the party. You're just
Yeah.
splitting the party like any other.
yes.
Yeah,
But
true.
if it is a team flashback, like a group flashback, like in the movies, like everybody is in the past right now. It's possible.
It could be like sometimes you introduce each character with 5-minute scene or something if they start at different places.
Yeah.
You could do the same with a flashback. Like they all start in the same place, but
Yeah.
each person has like a 5-minute scene with a flashback, like for a heist game or something.
The fun parts you can do with that is if you're all playing in the current time where you're obviously working together on a job, but in the flashback he's like fist fighting you, you know, literally a fist fight.
Yeah.
You saw.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope that someday actually I will do this CBR plus PNK session in Cyberpunk with the flashbacks. I'll try it. We'll see how it works.
It would be. I think it's cool to experiment since right now, all of the Powered by the Apocalypse is pretty much. It has a bad reputation amongst 4D role players
Yes.
because a lot of mechanics are using meta currency or like building it into your class feature to just add new information about the world, which goes against what we try to achieve of being immersed in the world. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. How can I be both immersed in the world and in my character when I use mechanics to change the world at the same time?
Yeah, maybe a last thing, but before Solmyr, you say the last thing maybe, but in this specific like Forged in the Dark, that is like a post PBTA. The cool part is like all this. It's almost like co-creation. Like the player takes a turn as a GM, like implements something into the world, so it's closer to the role play than just discussing what actually did happen. So not in the classical Forged in the Dark, but in the one shot, this system that they got post PBT. So yeah, we'll just need to try it.
I think it would be cool to watch how people usually play it and see where the problem is, because usually the problem is they stop role playing and they ask the other players, "Oh, it would be cool if if we add this new information into the world." And it's just above table talk. That's the big problem with that. But maybe we can see, or maybe we can try role playing it.
Yeah, but Solmyr, please, I interrupted you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I don't know, and I haven't tried. I have tried a little bit of Iron Forged stuff, but you have moves. Like you don't have actions, you have moves. The problem is that the moves are abstract. So you would need to think on 2 layers. You need to think, I have this abstract move, and what does it look like? And that's for me the showstopper, because I don't want to have 2 things going on in that way. I want the real-time thing.
Yeah, and just to remove the confusion, the Forged in the Dark or Blades in the Dark, they're not based on the moves. They're actually crunchy system with the rolls, with the dice. So it's not that. It just has some discussion about your how you can improve your turn with the game master that you do not need, that you can put aside like the initiative in the other games and actually continue playing. Maybe not in the Forged in the Dark specifically, but I just need, I don't need to discuss it anymore. I just need to run the game once and actually do it, before telling that it's possible, because I think it's possible. It just
sounds interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We can. Maybe you can organize something on the Discord.
I just need to wait for the better times.
Yeah, I understand. I'm also pretty like trying to figure out the Warhammer Wrath and Glory game that I hope to record and make it more like an audiobook almost, with a bit more art.
Digestible.
Yes, and digestible, so that people can watch it and enjoy it as a product to listen to, instead of just 5 guys playing together. So, like most actual plays, they're not designed as a product. And I hope this one to give it a bit more quality, very much inspired with Warden's approach. Because on YouTube, as Nobody Wakes the Bugbear podcast.
Oh, that's the high bar.
Yeah.
That's the high bar.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job. And the
But
way
the mother, what games?
The
are
mothership, the
Yes.
mothership.
Okay, yeah.
he does the Mothership games.
Super cool.
This is a high bar.
I think that he just recently did his first 4D session version of that together with Table Runner Crispy and Gallows Humor Games 15.
That's actually, this is how I discovered almost on the same moment I discovered 4D, because I was following him and he released the first video, I think, with like his face like talking about in person about 4D, and then he said we just did a session with some guys from this community. I said, whoa, really? And I just looked it up, and it's great. It actually, like I'm telling you, that's the cool part. I was listening to him before, like their group before, Nobody Wakes the Bugbear, and it was good. But then I stopped because they gave me an inspiration to try out Mothership, because I played once, I didn't like it, but I thought, okay, it sounds good, I'll try to run it. And I stopped. But then I watched his video about 4D, and he said, and we just played the session. And I thought, okay, I'll look it up. And I listened to it, and man, people, it's even better than it was before, because Christy and Dean, right? They came there and just played it. It was super good. Like, it was so good. It actually, and it was not only the like audiobook, but right now he's like it makes like a production, right? Like images and maps and stuff. So
using images and overlays and some small animations.
Yeah.
And sound effects too.
Yeah.
And of course, while you play, you don't hear those things and you don't see those things.
Yeah.
But in play, you can keep the cameras on so you can react to each other, role-playing, and you know what the other guy's going for. But for YouTube, you can have the art and some character art or the art of the spaceship and sound effects for the audience to have a better viewing experience. It is, that is divorced from role play a little bit. It's the audience will not know, is this exactly how it played? Who knows? Like, maybe they cut out 30 minutes rules discussions. You don't know. But we got all the other videos for that as evidence. All the other actual plays.
Yeah. If the purpose is entertainment, then nobody cares. They just care if it's entertaining.
Is it good? Is it funny? Is it dramatic? Is it all of that? Is it a cool story?
I usually listen to sessions. I don't really watch sessions very much. I watch a little bit just to see, and then I only listen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I miss many of the images as well, of course. But if there's only a few images, then you can look at the screen then, and then you can go around, do the house cleaning or whatever it is.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, let's move to your stuff, Solmyr. What you got?
But no images, please. Just as a reminder.
Yeah, as we discussed, so only we can see this. The audience will be able to hear it when I start play, but they cannot see this. We got.
I will confirm. Yes, I don't see anything on the YouTube. So
fantastic. I mean, are we calling them on name, or do they want to be incognito as well? Do I just say player 1 and player 2? Like, how do you want to do this?
No, just do the character name.
The character. Yeah, game master and character name. Okay. And your character
And I didn't.
of course.
I put it really close to the thing, so it's really short clips I had in mind. But yeah,
Okay.
let's see.
I got the first one that says 3 minutes 42.
Maybe I should explain the context. It's a wuxia game, a quick action-packed game, and we are starting out in a tea house in an exotic setting.
So wuxia
And,
just Chinese Eastern martial arts.
Yeah, like a Chinese-inspired martial arts romanticization.
Right.
Genre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you say wuxia. I'm imagining all the fireworks to like pull people through the air because their stunts are so awesome with the power of martial arts and all of that.
Oh yeah, all
Okay.
of that.
Okay, I'll start.
And with the
And just tell me to stop when when the clip is done.
other, I pat Changxi on the back and say, "So, Changxi, what do you think about our task?"
My eyes fall on the wrapped sword artifact that lies in front of us on the table. I grab for a coffee, a tea cup, take a tiny sip.
As you take your sip, out of the corner of your eye from the balcony above, you see a white ribbon rapidly descending down towards you.
I think about anything I might have remembered about such things.
The ribbon descends quickly, coming between you, and almost mystically starts wrapping itself around the sword sitting beside you.
I take out one of my butterfly swords and try to slash at it.
Yeah, you can stop there.
Give me
Yeah, so this was like the beginning of the session, and I think it was a bit interesting because I didn't answer the question from, or my character didn't answer the question from the other character. So
I didn't even
because
catch
I
that.
couldn't think of anything to say essentially, so I just let's play it mysterious instead.
Yes. I thought that's what you did. What's your character, right?
Yeah, for sure. And but then something happens. Like okay, I co-created the sword which we are supposed to protect right there, right? So we are getting right into it. But then there's some ribbon coming down, and it's obviously bad. And then I decide to ask a question, in character question, yes, but it's still, why would I ask a question there, right? And the GM then kind of ignores the question, and is stealing the sword, and then the other player would be like, "Oh, just cut it with your sword, right?" Immediately. So I thought that was interesting.
I don't think the question is bad completely, because in my head, the first session, playtest kind of thing, at the very start of the session, the white ribbon could mean anything. Is it good? Is it bad? I'm just confused. Why is the ribbon coming in the first place? Is it magic? Is it the wind blowing it, like blowing in the wind? Why does it catch your eye? I'm so confused. I would just be there. What is going on? I would do the anime thing of, what is this? Power pose, like, wow.
Yeah, like if if we could give like an unsolicited advice for this same situation, if I was a GM, for example, like on this comfort spot, right, where I'm not during the game, and I said about this like white ribbon that just goes, and the character says, I'm trying to remember anything about it, and I want to emphasize the like the danger that you don't have time, or just say just a ribbon, and it's already like starting like, swirling around the sword.
In a way,
but I would try to answer.
and I like that. In a way, I would, and I agree with this, enforce that you don't know. It's a white ribbon. So, okay, I try to think back what that could mean. It is moving magically through the air, right? So it's not carried by the wind. It looks like it's being carried by the wind, entering inside the dojo, now wrapping itself around your mystical sword. And now the player should realize, oh no, this is bad, and do something about it.
Yeah, but I liked how you answered with the just drinking tea. Maybe I don't know if the other player realized that it was your answer. I mean, maybe he thought that you. But yeah, you know, in these moments, I think that it was like you know, sometimes players they imply something, but it's not super like how to say transparent. For example, if someone will say the same thing, but saying like I'm ignoring your question by like taking a sip from the tea, it's more like obvious, right? And that's
Right.
again about this like bonds, like team bonds, between
Right.
players to understand each other. That
Yes.
could be it can be confusing at the beginning of the session. So what like do we hear each other and do we respond or not?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that was also an angle, because if these things always happen in the beginning of the session, in my opinion, where it's a little wonky and it's little so I mean, maybe role players should warm up or something like that. Does it take like 10? If it takes 10 minutes to really get over the stutter and stuff, should they have like a warm up session or something, like a flashback, maybe a flashback or something,
Yeah.
before they start proper?
You know, actually, like because I have some previous experience with PBTA and post PBTA stuff, in some systems, actually the game starts with the GM asking the characters like several questions about the world. So they start from the co-creation, like, okay, like you are here. What have you heard about mountain trolls, right? And every player says, "Oh, I heard this, I heard that, I heard that." And okay, and then what do you have heard about like I don't know, like under mountain dungeon, something like the red dungeon, this and this, why dangerous, because of that, and then the game starts. So there are like several questions just to to facilitate the like
It's
this,
so
imagination.
so that they think in character what they would have heard.
Yeah,
give
but
the
it's
answers.
not. But they do not train the role play. It doesn't help with the role
They're not
play.
exactly a character, and that's
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's-
They just helps with the immersion. That's it.
yeah. It sounds like a little bit more structured pre-game talk, or almost session talking, but more structured.
And that's the thing. A lot of advice on YouTube and on Reddit, you know, where people congregate communities to talk about, oh, how do I run a better game? How am I a better game master? Lots of it is giving advice of, oh, ask the players how they want to do this, or
Yeah.
ask the players how they feel about what is happening right in front of them. And I don't want to ask those questions because I am destroying the illusion through asking those questions. Instead of needing me to ask you, I want you to assume that you will always describe your emotional state of your character through your actions, through your roleplay, by anchoring your character and making those small moments of you wipe off the sweat off your brow, or your eyes flutter left and right. You have a nervous tick as you clamp your elbow with your fingers, averting the gaze to the other character. But and introduce those instead, and be more comfortable describing how your character acts.
I have but that's I think the Solmyr raised up like more concrete topic, not about how you describe your character and how you role play, but how do you connect with other players during the role play? Do you understand each other in the game? Because you could never play before with each other. So that's the question. And I think in this case, my take will be my proposition. Like, I don't know, would you like it or not? What if the whole idea of the classical D&D, when you start in a tavern, actually it is like a gym's, a beginning, like a training gym, like territory, so you could actually practice your like role playing with each other. So then you go into adventure, because right now, maybe because we're in the 21st century, maybe because our time span of our attention is shorter, but all modern games recommend to start the game right at the beginning of the action, like something happens right now and you are like need to act right now already. It's good, but again, if you're playing the first time with each other, you can misunderstand each other and you can just lose some of the information, and it can be misleading. So probably a short like flashback before the action, where you are somewhere in a safe place, and then the action.
How is this better than just role playing? I guess that's the part that I'm not convinced with. That this is a better approach to learn how to role play with each other, compared to, okay, let's start the game, let's get into it, and and be okay that I grabbed the coffee first before I realized, oh wait, it's Wusha. I grabbed the tea. Allow for mistakes to exist and be okay with it and move on.
No, I absolutely agree. Of course, I just when you are in let's say you're in a tavern, it's a slow moving situation, and you're just sitting there on your chair. There's nothing crazy going on. You can just slow down and focus. Oh, I'm wearing a hat. It's pointy, and I have a mustache, and I ask my companion, "How was your day?" Right? That is so low pressure that you can sort of get a little bit into it. You can create some of these images, and then the flashback ends, and then the action starts, and then you swing your two-handed axe, and like now you're really on point, right? Doesn't make sense at all.
So we are we saying to have almost like a time skip built in, so you can have like a moment to get comfortable with roleplay, and then almost like the time skip, having accepted the quest, you're at the entrance of the Goblin Cave and go from there.
I mean, the thing is, different games already have implemented ideas how to make these like flashbacks or pre-existing time skips in between. Just I know it's not smooth to implement it in the 4D like during the session, and I heard a lot how Conway was like, no, we're not doing time skipping. But what when you sleep? Like, you're not role playing how you sleep for several hours. No, it's not time skipping. We're just like, but like, yes, we are time skipping. Like, we just don't call it this way. But like, there are ways how you can do it. It goes in the background. It just
and with Delicious Tracks, the game I played with Conway, the time skip was a problem because I wanted the players to make it clear when they want to move time forward, but also because a lot of it was walking through forest or different terrain, the action is slow and brooding, and there is a feeling of like we are not getting anywhere because lots of it looks just like the forest. And now I'm trying to come up with different ways to describe different terrains and regions, but only once every player like described that they're still marching and not adding any extra elements or starting a new scene, then I move the time. I literally describe the sun becomes overhanged, dusk is approaching, and everybody knows, oh right, we just spent 4 hours.
But look, you are achieving the same result with the slow pace description and making these like slow turns. In the same way as this like fast moving pacing does when you start the game at the beginning of the action, because the idea to start it right at the beginning of the action scene is to is for other players to feel that, oh, it's something urgent, we need to do something. That's the idea. So that's why we put it in this way. So if you want the opposite, if you want the players to feel that they don't know where to go, they are lost, they don't know like what to do, you're actually doing the right thing. You're just with the same instruments, but like, you know, you can reversing the whole idea and just doing the same stuff. So like, I think it's the same instrument, it's the same approach.
Okay. Solmyr, do you have anything to add? I have another thought on this.
No, I just think that like some of the a lot of the sessions I've seen with Phil and Crispy and Mr. Max, I think a lot of them some of them start kind of slow, and there's this slow burn, and the character will roll a cigarette, etc. And I think that's maybe that's to get into character slowly, and then once you are there, you can do a lot more with it.
The thing, and I agree from where I'm standing, especially with the 40 guys, a lot of them are aggressive role players, so they don't need to be motivated by the game master to act quickly. Now, please do something. I beg of you, do anything. Just pick a direction. Are you swinging your sword or running away? You don't have to prompt them. They will act. If you sip. If you sip it, they will act. Once they have some room to react.
More than that, they will actually enjoy the role playing, even if there will be no action in this scene, like that.
Yes.
Action, like an action movie. It will be if it is slow pacing, they will enjoy it too. So yeah, that's the cool. That's a cool thought, because like every new system that I like read right now, they're all trying to facilitate the action, like to make it faster, to make the players to do something. Even Blaze in the Dark, Forge in the Dark, let's do something. And I just wondered right now, like, could it be like coming from the idea that the actually players usually don't roleplay?
Yes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So this is why it's inside roleplay. So I really want to hammer this point home. How do you get your players from, I'm unsure what my character would do, please game master, give me a direction so that I know what I have to do. We had Uncle Duke on a couple sessions ago with Table Runner Crispy, and he said his player eventually stopped and just said, I just don't know what you want me to do at his gaming table. And we all laughed about this because it's so relatable. Yes, a lot of players are trained to expect the game master to tell them what they are supposed to do. And when the game master changes style and stops telling you what to do, it means the player needs to come up something himself. So you need a shift in the mindset, right? It's not the rule set that you shift, it's the mindset of what the game is about. And the game is about playing your character. Do you have a goal? Do you have an outline, a premise? If we say you all play evil characters, part of an orc tribe. So pick a goblin or an orc or maybe an ogre or a half orc or an allied race. And you create your own motivation. And as part of a like a good group as players, you also have a reason to stick together as a party, right? So that the players interact with each other and move as a group. But the players themselves come up with reasons of why they are going out into the world and reacting and acting on the world. They don't need the game master to give them a quest. Not anymore, is what I mean. Like, they don't need permission anymore to go on adventure. They just go when they smell adventure. So that I guess, sorry, that was like an open question. How do we help players make that switch in their minds to, all right, I can make my own choice, what would be cool, and then become a proactive player instead of a reactive player asking for permission?
And that's a really good question, Solmyr.
Yeah,
That's
just
a really good
self
question.
role play for everybody real quick while we're on the show.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot. No, I think it matters. I think it's super easy. Honestly, I think it's super easy. But the step before it being super easy, maybe it's not that easy. And that's realizing that your character is like probably like a driven individual, and they are like laser focused on they must achieve X, Y, or Z. And once you have that in mind, all of a sudden the action comes naturally. But you have to know that. You have to know my character is extremely greedy and impatient. Okay, so there's only one way forward, and that's to rob somebody or to rob the tombs or whatever it may be. But if you have that knowledge, then it's easy to guess what they would do.
I have another simple answer. From my experience, the best players, I mean, if we put aside the 4D community, right? The best players, usual players.
Thank you very much. Feel charmed.
So the best players are those who are doing GMing all the time. So if you make a game for the GM, or you have a group of players and one of them is forever GM and he plays in your party, he doesn't need anything. He just plays because he has this skill. He knows how to roleplay. So like one of the ways how anybody can learn how to role play like non-stop, right? Or role play, I mean, when I say role play right now, I mean just be in character, not like good role play or like perfect role play. Just be in character and just always know what you're gonna do. So I think the easiest way is just to run several games. Like if you will run several 10, 20 games as a GM, no, really, like it will help you, because look, there is the idea behind it. As a GM, you need several NPCs with a different motivation, with a different characters, with a different way of thinking, and you cannot make up the same NPCs all the time. You need to make them different. So it helps. Like one moment it just clicks and it helps. But of course, most of the players, they don't want to GM. They want just to play.
Yeah, exactly, because it's exactly the same problem. What would the NPC do? It's essentially the same problem. But I think you're right. I think you're right. There's only one way forward, and that's sort of repeating it and doing
play as many characters as possible. And when you are a player and you play only one character as a player in every game, there is this pitfall where you can find yourself again and again that you're playing like another version of someone who is really similar to yourself, like things like you, acts like you. So because it, like yeah, we can never play someone with really different from ourselves, but still, right? You can deviate more or less to this from your player character, right? This main character, ideal platonistic ideal character. So yeah,
I'm thinking of and I like your answers of if you're the game master for 10-20 sessions, then you train that skill of being in character of many different non-player characters. So you practice that skill of getting, like, putting on the skin, like slip into the sandals of somebody else and walk for a couple of miles, because you do it so much more often and you switch all the time, and that helps you make the barrier smaller and smaller and smaller every time you do it. So, but and I agree with players, if all they want is to just be entertained, they don't need to practice that, because the game master, it's almost the expectations that the game master will carry everything, the whole game, on his shoulders for you to be entertained. And if a viewer is listening and thinks, oh, that's him at his gaming table, just think, it's a big burden to achieve that, for the game master to do all of that. And if all you do is play at his table, it makes me think of, like, how much do you like your game master? Do you want him to have a good time as well or not? So if you want to have a better time playing with your friends, then the ways you can help the game master is by having stronger ideas about your character and become more proactive. Instead of waiting for the game master to give you something to do, you can interact with the world, like go out into the world and say, I am looking to make 10,000 gold, or I want to create my own mage tower, or like anything. Even something simple as, I check the blackboard if there are any quests up for grabs, and organize the other player characters. Come on, we've done enough drinking in the tavern. We're poor, we're broke, and you will only get me into trouble if we don't move out now.
Another thing that I thought, Zonlar, if I can change your question a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, if you ask me how someone can become a good 4D role player. So I will ask you, what are two main goals that 4D role play is trying to achieve? Do you remember from the book, Zonalar? You read the book, I know.
I read books. It's a thing I do.
Two main things, just two only things that 4D is really trying to achieve.
Stay in character for as long as possible.
It's one, and the second one?
Oh, what's the second one?
Or the first? Solmyr. We are checking the homework. Okay, so
I think this is embarrassing.
What's the second one that you had in mind?
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
So one of them is to stay as long as possible. The first one is connected to it. It's to, how to say it in English properly, to get into your character as fast as possible. So to jump into it as fast as possible, and then to stay as long as possible. Right. So it's not something different. But guess what? Look, if you are GMing a lot of sessions, what do? You're jumping into the character as fast as possible, and you're jumping out. But if you're playing as a player, you're staying in character, trying as long as possible. Yeah. So if you want to be a good 4D role player, okay, my theory, Zen, you need to have experience as a player and as a GM. And if it will be balanced, you will achieve 4D arch game. How do you like it? How do you like it? Arch 4D.
It's funny.
No, seriously. I mean, yeah, as a GM, it's a good thing that you have a lot of NPCs, but you cannot stay in the character for a long time. You cannot feel the character as much as a player. But as a player, you like. That's the problem that we all face, right? And we all see as players, and we see it as a GM. So when you have other players, that it's hard. Like they can play their character sometimes, some players, but then something distracted them, and then they need to go back into the character and it's kind of start the process again. So these are kind of two wings of this 4D airplane.
Which is for the trading. Go ahead, Solmyr.
Yeah, I think if I have two ideas with that, and I think the open-ended game where we talked about that the player needs to do whatever the character would do, and I think that only works if the whole table is onto that idea. The GM cannot run a game for players who expect a more tailored, railroaded approach, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And maybe the 4D style works best for people who enjoy both being players and GMs, in fact. Because as a player, when you know how the things work on the other side, for example, you stop asking as many questions. I experienced that with the use online in some of the games we played a few years ago. I was gonna be like looking at all the details of the submarine, right? And I realized that, wait a minute, I'm giving this guy a lot of work.
You are okay. I can just if all you want to do is look around, I will keep describing everything around you until you realize 25 minutes have passed and you've done nothing with your time. If that's
something happened.
Yeah.
And something happened.
So
you're looking,
yeah, but that's just an example that I think the rumors that 4D has too many GMs or they have the right amount of GMs, maybe that's a little bit true, right?
Yeah, we are hoarding them all, right? Because GMs are frustrated with players that show up to be entertained for this adult daycare 6 to 6, 12-hour job every day. I show up and I want you to entertain me, GM. No, don't ask me to do any work. I don't want to know the rules. Tell me what's in the room. How high is the ceiling? How many enemies can I see? Can I attack him and then attack the other guy with my second action? Do I have any actions left? It's like, fucking stop talking. Just act like roleplay, guys. Come on. How hard is it? You've been here for 20 sessions with me. It's all compounding into frustration and then looking for how can I improve my games, going on YouTube, seeing those channels, thinking, oh, he's cool, that's I don't know if that works. What is 4D roleplay? And then it clicks. It clicks because it, of course I will say it makes sense, but because the advice is actually helpful.
But when you describe that players usually ask, "Can I do this? Can I do this?" But in 4D community, the players do not do this. But even before that, before the game starts, what I noticed, because right now I joined two groups of two different games. This another Warhammer table, the cooler table, and the Bugs game. But because of some different circumstances, we didn't start it yet. But on the same two on these two groups, we had the zero session, and the thing is, when I see it, it's just so cool compared to the usual other tables. When we're looking into the rules, and I see that everyone actually trying to understand the rules, and I always have this idea as a GM, I need to know the rules, I need to understand the rules, so I will not ask stupid questions, right? And I see that everyone trying to understand the rules as good as possible, so no one will ask stupid questions or game will not stuck. And that's not how usually players are behaving, sadly, So I think it comes from the GM experience, trying to understand the game system to not be interrupted during the game session.
Yeah, and in that way, it does demand more of players to, like, okay, you need to find the time to read a bit of the rules. You don't need to read the whole rule book, but you should know what can your character do. What are the basic mechanics, like attacking somebody or using your skill? If you play a wizard, how does spellcasting work? What do you need to know? That is important information. And smaller stuff like what happens if you take a lot of damage? Do you die? Are you bleeding out? Are you conscious or unconscious on the ground? Sometimes sometimes you might even want to look up conditions. Like, okay, what happens if the enemy trips me? What does trip mean? It's a -1 modifier. Those are like getting into the weeds. And if you are in the weeds and it happens at the table, you can ask, it happens sometimes, what does this do? And the game master can give you 1-sentence answer, -1. But now we made it the exception to ask, and not the rule. Right now, all tables out there, the rule is to ask, always ask. But we make it the exception. Always assume the answer. If you don't know, you don't get the benefit. You just get the drawbacks until you learn the rules, and then you gain the benefits. Yep. And if you ask, it's okay to ask every once in a while as the exception. Because we make the goal to roleplay in character for as long as possible, it helps everybody to try harder and improve the more we play. Thank you for showing up to my preaching lesson today. The sermon is now over.
You're welcome.
Solmyr, let's hop back to you. You have like 5 timestamps. Pick the ones you like the most that you wanna look at. I'm seeing like asking questions about spears.
That's not important.
I see like creating unnecessary drama. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's 4617.
Okay, do you want the first one or the second one?
4617, I think, is good.
That one? Okay.
And then, I'll stop it.
Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to this. Same Wuxia with the GM, the first character, Crimson Dawn, and Shang-Chi.
The bounds, unable to break them. But she manages to roll herself off the back of the horse onto the side of the path.
This is the wrong clip.
Squirm away from you.
All right, let me double check. I think I'm 1 minute behind. Yes. Okay.
I think I gave the wrong timestamp.
No, I started at 45 by accident. 45:17. Let me try again.
Yeah.
Has a large archway at the entrance, followed by a set of steps leading up to the building proper. At the top of the steps, an old man stands serenely, long white beard, long hair, robes of the monastery's abbot. He just stands waiting for you to reach him.
Hold. I stopped the horse 5-10 meters away from the presumed abbot. Yeah, you can pause there. The sword for also.
Pause here?
I think so. This was this abbot at the monastery. There's a monastery. This guy is obviously the right NPC. Okay, so in terms of metagaming, if you will. That's the quest giver. You have to give him the sword. That's it. But my character is paranoid. And I thought maybe he's not the right one. Everybody knows he is the right one, okay? But let's see if we can create some drama, and see if that can become an interesting situation.
Do you want me to continue the clip and see how it plays? Or no?
Yeah, let's continue a little bit
Okay.
to see. Without saying a word.
He puts out a hand and indicates you to come forward.
I come close at the back of Changshi's horse. I jump down and take the woman on my shoulder and go next to Shang-Chi.
You first, brother. I have a bad feeling about this. I whisper as he passes. Yeah, you can stop there.
All right. Yeah. So, okay. You are co-creating. Okay. So all we know, right? All the information we know. It's an old man with a white beard on top of the staircase in an abbot's outfit. And co-creating of that you feel that you have a bad feeling, I think is fine because it's you being your character. As a player, as you said, you're adding an element of, oh, I could create some drama here. I could stir up some drama here. But at the same time,
Yeah,
you're not forcing the game master to be like, what are you talking about? Of course, I am Nice Dude, Sensei Master Nice Dude. So you he can give you more information to either lower your guard and play into you being paranoid by then acting in a weird way, or decide the game master could decide that the master himself is under a spell on the spot because you are role-playing being paranoid. Or it could, as a game master, I'm thinking I could also play into the hands to make you more paranoid and see if I can make you kill him. And that is the twist of like, you're the one that was cursed to act too rashly, do something real bad and out of character by messing with your perception of reality. Since you bring it up, let's see if I can play into this. So do you think this was like completely unnecessary drama? You could have just let it go.
Let me just explain what I mean by that real quick. There is this trope in role-playing games where players sometimes see, deceit and problems where there is absolutely none.
Yes.
And this can drag out. Like this can drag out for a while. When the players don't dare to take the final step because it's too obvious.
In front of you are the staircase and it leads up to the dojo. Is the staircase trapped?
That's what I thought. The first thought came to my mind was about players who come from D&D and I play with them, and even if it is a dungeon crawler or something, and there is a desk, a chest or something, and someone says like, oh no, wait, there could be traps here. Like, did we check for the traps? And I'm thinking like, there were no clues about it. You don't have any like he cannot be. He can even be not a thief or something. But like you need to check for the traps because we are in a dungeon, right? And there are traps everywhere. So yeah, like I understand. I think what do you mean by this? If something is obvious, if it is a chest, it is a mimic. If it is a door, it's closed, right? It's the same trope.
Yeah, exactly.
If it is a nice guy with the white clothing, probably he's evil and disguised.
But in fact, it is actually just a door.
Yes.
You talk to the guy. Don't. Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I suggest we jump to the resolution because now Crimson Dawn has to interrogate the abbot for a while, but I try to resolve the situation a little within 5 minutes, right? just so we can move on with the actual game.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing, and I agree with Klaus here. You can trip yourself up, even though there was nothing in the way to trip over, but the paranoia of the player seeping into your actions as a character. Oh, I need to double check every door and every staircase, every chest that is in the dungeon. Even so I need to double check every quest giver because he might have a double play. He has a secret agenda. But a good game master has that information in the world available for you to find. I find, but also a game master does not want to make it obvious. So if you don't go out of your way looking for it, you will not find it. Have you played in a game where, okay, you activated the trap card and you stopped and asked the game master, why was there a trap here? The game master said, well, there were clues, but you missed all of them. You missed every single clue in the world.
When I have rare moments to play a game as a player, not a game master, and I see this this kind of scene coming, that there's a door, right, and everyone like, oh wait, we don't know what's there, and I'm just usually how I behave because I have experience as GM. I'm just like, oh, I'm just walking to the door and try to open it. Like, oh, there is a chest. Okay, oh, I'm opening the chest. Oh, this mysterious magical item, what it can do. I'm taking it and then try it, and I'm licking it, and smelling it. Because what I think, and then if the game master says, oh, it was a trap, haha, you're like trapped, and I'm thinking like, oh, that's lame, okay, oh wow, it's a trap. It's a trap, right? Because, like, I don't know, what's the, it takes part of the fun, like, it removes part of the fun from if you, like, I already know these tropes, right? I've done them before. So yeah. I'm really interested what will happen if I'll just go directly to this thing and it will interact with it. Even if it is a guy in disguise, I can play out the character that just naive and will just give away sword or something to this person. I just like, why not? Why not? Because actually, what? Yeah, Solmyr.
No, it's a nice twist. I was just commenting on that. That you could just play along with it.
Yeah, because I know I met some GMs that went so far with this trap thing that they are not doing what you said, Zonalor, that oh, it's just a door. You could just pull it or push it, something like that. No, they actually thinking like, oh, the players think that there is a trap, but it's not just a usual trap. It's like super trap, like they're building like traps on traps on. So therefore, like usually when I'm a player and it's a GM that I do not know, I'm just like, oh, I'm opening the door. I'm just interested. What like, because sometimes they expect players to be so overconscious, cautious. So. Like, it's kind of they prepare these several layers of intricate fun, and I just want to experience, the narrative. I don't care about your like meta game with all these tropes. Yeah, someone mentioned it about I think Crispy with Bacon and who was the guy who was making this game. Not
you mean
Arch Game, another the last stream that they made.
Yes, Alexander McCree with X2.
Yeah. So they mentioned the same idea when your character meets a gelatin cube, right? And he doesn't know what it is, but you as a player knows it and then what to do, blah blah blah, etc. So for me, like I found the easiest way. I act as a naive person that doesn't know anything, and I have this suspension of knowledge, right? I'm suspending my knowledge, and I'm just acting like not in a way that I maybe want as a player. It's just easier for me than try to investigate what will my character do. No, I will do the opposite of what I would do as me as a person. So.
I think it takes a mindset shift, and I experienced this a few times lately with the overcautious players, and yeah, it is something that you can just try a few times to walk into the traps, and
Yes.
and now you're in a different place.
In a way,
not to be afraid to the risk, not be afraid of the risk. Like you will not die as a person. It's a character, right? So
yeah, the character can die, no problem. It's the most fun when they are suffering.
yeah. But that's another cool topic. It's not for the day, of course, but it's another cool topic. That's what actually I think the games can be beneficial about that. That one of the most horrific things that we have as human beings is this like problem of suffering, right, or evil in life, like in many ways. But actually, when people play the games as the characters, they want to meet these problems and suffering like stuff in the game, so the suffering will not be as dangerous as it was like in real life, or as it is in real life. So it's a kind of, I don't know, like not a medicine, but some kind of, that's what games do to us, right? It's a way how you can be, I don't know, be injured in a safe way, be insulted in a safe way, and so
it's a way to enjoy suffering, and that gives it meaning, right? That's a great thing. Because if you're able to enjoy suffering at least on that level, then the future may be a little easier for you.
Yeah, and maybe that's how you can scale the level of the role play. The players who don't want to fall into a trap or don't want to die, they're scared of even the mention of any kind of imaginable suffering and just invented suffering and not real one. So they're trying to avoid it in any costs, and maybe they're losing part of the enjoyment and fun from the game that they could achieve, probably. That's a real RPG philosophy. It's not that's for the night.
Yes, we did reach the end of for tonight. So I want to give you guys like any last thoughts you want to share with the people that like came to you as we were talking, that you want to mention. Now is the time. Also, if you like are playing a game online or have a project you think role players might be interested in learning more, or just whatever. I understand the Solmyr, you keep your games private for your friends and the people that you play with online. So
I would just say like don't be afraid to play bad games, and don't be afraid to be a bad game master, because it's still enjoyable to be to try things and to play games, shorter games. It's easy to organize one-on-ones, one-on-twos. Just go ahead and have fun with it.
Fantastic. 40 space.
But I would say I already said the main thing about this philosophy of suffering, but I would say that I understand when GMs, game masters, they're not willing to play in other tables as a players. They do not find joy in it sometimes. But like again, as we mentioned this thing, I just really like this idea. We need to test it. So if you're usually a GM, like I experienced this, right? On this UNPC game, right? When I was a player, I just discovered it. I'm playing as a character, but I'm thinking as a GM. I'm describing my character as one NPC to everyone else. I'm not inside his mind. I'm not feeding the character, right? Like the arch gamers will tell me. So, and the main reason was because usually I'm a game master. I'm not a player. So actually, I need this experience of the player to enjoy the game, right, more. And the opposites, and from the opposite side, if you're a player, usually, I think the GMing experience, even if it's not good, even if you will not like it, even if the games will not be the best, the idea is just to practice more. And like when you have this balanced experience of the GMing and playing, I think it will benefit to you and every other players at the table. Because right now I can definitely feel that like I have a lack of player experience as a player on the tables. So, and like first of all, like I can feel that I could experience, I can take more from the game if I would have the more like previous experience as a player.
It certainly is. With 40 roleplay also being a bit of a different beast. Try to like we are practicing getting out of our shell, more or less, having new experiences, taking a new approach. Learning the rules more often than not. On my end, I really struggle reading rule books. I just don't enjoy this aspect of the hobby. But since I play and run more games, I have to know more. So I'm also like pushing myself just slightly beyond the boundaries of what I'm comfortable with, so that I can make sure that the people I play with have a pleasant experience with me. And I think that will, like, obviously the other people can decide for me if that reflects good on me. But I'm pretty certain it will reflect good on you if you guys do it at home, to like push yourself just a little bit outside your comfort zone. Not much, but just a little bit. The next session you play, think of something, what would be interesting, like learning some more rules in the rulebook that you have forgotten because it's been like 3 months since you played the last session, or helping out with scheduling. Even small things like that helps a lot, taking the burden off the game master. And the part of like actually offering to run a session for their friends as a one-shot, so you experience what it feels like to be a game master in turn, which gives you a broader appreciation for the hobby and the game master you're sitting with, right? That will help you a lot to understand what he's dealing with, and also how you as a player can help him have a more joy in the hobby. I don't think anyone wants their game master at the table to burn out and feel like, oh, I'm glad you had fun because I had a horrible time. Nobody wants that, Pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's also on the topic, we will have next week, if the scheduling works out, we will talk into what 40 Space alluded to. The capacity of evil will be the topic for next week. The idea of role-playing evil characters and what it does do to you as a person at the table. And spoilers right off the bat, if you watch my previous videos and if you watch my campaign, I'm all for role-playing evil characters. I got no problem with this whatsoever. But luckily, I will have Mr. Max Boivin, who was one of my players with Delicious Dregs, who's an excellent role player and enjoys thinking and talking about how to roleplay, helping people roleplay, and really try to get into the character deeply. And I have a Mike, I'm not sure, what was it again? DMH Relic, I believe, who is a psychologist, so that I can have a bit of a really more professional opinion to help me navigate this and be more than just role players talking to help with the psychology end of things, what it does to us as humans, as we put on the mask of what is it like if I play a bad guy, a really bad guy, and are there any dangers or any misconceptions that we can help clear up and discuss. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Me
All
too.
right.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Okay. And with that, we're gonna end the stream. So I'm gonna switch over to the other screen. So thank you guys for showing up. 4D Space does have a YouTube channel. It's just as it's written under his camera, 4DS Space on YouTube. It will also be
Yes.
linked in my description.
Yes, and it's in Russian, and we have just several videos. But we'll
That's
see
true,
what
that's
will
true.
happen. Then, yeah.
I watched them. Okay, I watched them. But that is correct. They are in Russian. But the auto translation works. Auto translate subtitles does function if you want to
Yeah.
listen to like Crimes Against Roleplay, but for Russians and nicer. There's some of
Nicer.
it over there.
Much nicer. Yes. More polite. Thank you, sir.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if you watch 2 hours, do like this video and leave a comment down below. Thank you very much. And I got some links in the description for 4D Space channels, for the beginners 4D handbook, and for the Discord if you want to learn more about 4D roleplay and want to get into a training session and roleplay more with people that really enjoy getting into character. All right, that's all the advertisement done. Thank you very much for watching. See you around.